We now quickly move on to the next presentation session of the day on a very fantastic and a different topic, democratizing credit through Lentra's lending cloud. And to present on this, I would like to call on stage with a big round of applause, Mr. Ankur Handa, co-founder and chief product officer, Lentra. Can we have Ankur with a big round of applause? Ankur ji, welcome to the panel and welcome to the stage. All over to you.
Good afternoon, everybody. I would like to thank the organizers and the members of the banking fraternity all present here for this wonderful event and this opportunity. As India celebrates Azadi Ka Mahotsav, we are entering a golden age for the country and for the economy. Today, when I look at credit, the credit adoption in India is increasing by the day. Okay, thanks. Now, credit is available not just to the salaried or to the industrialist, but also to the students, to the farmers, entrepreneurs, homemakers, street vendors, and thanks to Jan Dhan, to Aadhaar, to internet, to mobility, we are moving towards a virtual world where credit is going to be a great equalizer, especially to a plural society like ours. If I talk of lending, it's not just in India, it's something that's happening across the globe. The retail assets are being reimagined across the globe. The modern technology rails are now available with us, and in the next 3 years, we are going to be seeing a retail rush moving towards the cloud. And this is because lenders have also realized by moving to cloud, it's much easier because it's effective, it's faster access to the customers, and you can provide much, much better service. Being in the fraternity and with so many bankers in the room, one of the things that we recognize that the banks are facing a lot of challenges today, right? So there are multiple points of loan originations. How do you deal with that? Outdated platforms on lending side, especially with business logic that has been deep embedded on the legacy code. There's a very narrow risk assessment data point available. And the TAT, especially if you're trying to roll out anything new, how do you roll it out? How do you have an optimized TAT for the entire program? And inability to collaborate with the wider ecosystem. So when we envisaged the solution at Lentra, we looked at 4 broad themes. The entire retailification for lending, credit expansion across the globe, credit agnostic to the solution. I mean, whichever channel it is coming from, any channel, we should be able to enable that. And put in all the new technology rails that's possible. Now, we find, as Lentra, we find ourselves in a very good place. Our vision is to be the most trusted and sought after cloud-native digital lending platform. We are in our 4th year of evolution, and we have achieved quite a few milestones. We have had a proven track record both on retail as well as SME lending. We did foresee the retail lending transforming from a long TAT system to a real-time system, mostly at the point of sale. We started through with the consumer durable journey for a very large NBFC HDBFS. And our idea was to create a mobile-first solution, help them on the STP agenda, straight-through processing, and integrate them with different OEMs. Today, very proud to share, on the entire consumer durable platform, last year we did 15 million loan applications on the platform. We got to greater than 92% of straight-through processing that happened on the platform, and more than 90% of transactions got sourced out of out of a mobile digital assisted source that we had. Similarly, we did the personal loan journeys. When we looked at the personal loan journeys, it was all about how do we create, whether it is existing to bank customers, new to bank customers, new to credit, digital PL. There are so many sources through which the bank would want to originate the customers. How do you put them together? How do you bring them under one roof? So that's the big heavy lifting that we did, and today we are doing this for more than 4 lenders in a very, very successful manner. Moving on to SME lending, the rules of the game are a little different, right? On the consumer side or the retail side, it's all about STP, fast decisioning. When it comes to SME, it's more about comprehensive data that you need to make a qualified decision. What you're looking there is, how am I going to do my credit eligibility? How am I going to do valuation, verification? How would the personal discussion happen on the field? How do I do a very exhaustive CAM or a risk control unit? There are so many different functions. So the idea was to bring everything under one platform, under one roof, so that for the bankers, we wanted to solve that problem so that they don't have to flip and go to 20 different applications. They should just have one application. That's the Lentra application. So it's like an expressway which has got multiple toll gates. And those toll gates and the tickets at those toll gates are all controlled by the bank, and we help the upkeep of this expressway. So there's zero software, hardware footprint at the customer location. What we call is an enterprise SaaS solution where we manage things end to end to enable all the SME as well as the retail journeys. And we are constantly rediscovering new journeys as we move forward. So getting into this year, we are also launching agricultural loans, gold loans, and so on and so forth. So I'd like to introduce to this audience the Lentra Lending Cloud. We have built a cloud-native, API-first, configurable platform which will change the course of lending, not just in India, but across. And I say that with a sense of responsibility. I've been in cards, banking, and lending for a little over 2 decades, have worked through with some of the global players. So we feel we have started a spark here in India, but we're going to take this fire all across the globe, even outside of India. And we are already seeing the results. When it comes to originations, we are seeing some dramatic shift from a single point of origination. Today we realize that there are multiple channels for originating any accounts. It could not just be the branches, but there are online retail chains, there are POS systems, merchants, organized retail dealers, OEMs, affiliates, DSAs, and so on and so forth. So similarly, the underwriting characteristics are also dramatically changing. So we have put together an API-based framework where we have put the entire lending experience in the box, and we have exposed that lending box through the API framework and the API catalogs that we have created. So this facilitates embedding any of the loan journeys that we have built with any channel of choice that the bank wants to reach out to. And this is something that we realize that you need to be an early adopter in this game, set the context, and today we are happy to see that a lot of those early results are already paying off in terms of building the new to bank journeys via the API catalogs that we have built through. To cite a few examples, we have enabled a large NBFC TVS credit to use our APIs and embed their consumer durable journey onto the Samsung stores across India for any consumer durable loan. So they don't have to deploy their people from branch to branch. The traffic directly comes from the portal that Samsung is using and comes to us on the platform, and TVS underwrites that. We are building similar digital journeys for some other large NBFCs across the Tata and the Birla groups in India that we are working through. and for one of the largest private retail bank in India, where we build journeys from consumer durables to two-wheeler loans to supply chain finance, using this approach of having all the building blocks, exposing them through the Lentra API framework so that we can take that to all the customers. This is the digital ecosystem that we have created. So, and some things haven't changed in lending for maybe 20 years that I have seen. It's very little about implementing a software or a platform, but I think the bigger trick is how do you integrate with the ecosystem. So most of the core platforms, their implementation is less than 20% of the overall project. 80% of the work is more to do with how are you going to integrate with internal and external peripheral interfaces, as we call them. So we created, through this ecosystem, we've created a scenario where on the left-hand side, whatever are the open market sources, any channel we can integrate through. On the top, what you see is the digital experience layer, where whether it's a customer journey, whether it's a merchant journey, whether it's a digital assisted journey, we have created multiple manifestation, whether it's going to be self-serve or digital assisted or an embedded journey. All of those digital experiences are created. And most importantly, what you see on the right-hand side are all the third-party interfaces, the digital interfaces. We saw this digital explosion coming. Today we have so many data points, from credit bureaus to bank statements to ITR to GSTN data. And how do you quickly put all of them together and bring that in a very intelligent way to the smartest business rule engine to make a lot of value with that data? So number one, you have to aggregate all of that data, bring that at one common place, and then put it into a business rule engine so that you can derive a lot of value from that data. And that's what we looked at by building this autonomous lending platform. So we have got a lot of these services, a lot of these functional and domain components that bring all of these pieces together and deliver the end value so that the bankers can focus on what they need to do, which is to build the book. You want to grow your book to double the size, triple the size, you focus on that. The rest of the things will take care as far as lending is concerned. Here's a view of kind of what we have done and what we have achieved, an indicative list of all the customers whom we are serving. And again, please bear in mind, this is our 4th year of our evolution. We are relatively a very, very young, digitally savvy, cloud native API first outfit, but we have changed lives for some of our colleagues in the banks. We have been talking to a lot of them as focus groups, whether it is the field officers, whether these are the underwriters, whether these are the operational teams, whether these are the marketing teams, to bring in something that actually works. So, and the testimony really has been the volume of traffic that has gone through the platform, all the loans that have already been disbursed out of our platform, and the point of sale where we have the presence. There are 60,000 plus concurrent users that can anytime are logged onto our platform. There are more than 90,000 point of sales where we have enabled what is happening. There are 18 plus different loan journeys that we have enabled, and all of this has happened in just 3 years, and I think we feel that we are just getting started. There's so much more to come. One of the things working with the banks, we also realized there are 2 things that matter the most. One is, of course, compliance, and the other is resilience. And especially when you're building a digital asset. When you're building an asset which is going to be having anywhere from 20 to 50 moving parts at any moment of time. So there are so many components, there are so many APIs, there are so many things that we are pulling together. How do you keep a tab that all of these components are working all the time? So one of the big things for us was to go after operation and technology resilience, so that, to give an example, any festive season, whether it's an OTP or whether it's a bureau service, if a bureau service fails, the business cannot take the risk of their lending application not being available. So if one credit bureau fails, we seamlessly auto-switch the service to another credit bureau without bank getting to know. We report these things retrospectively at end of the day. Similarly, if there's an OTP service that is failing, we seamlessly move it to another OTP service provider. So being a lending platform, we have this advantage to integrate with almost all the channel partners, bring all of them onto our platform, and have this ability to kind of very quickly switch to a service that is already always working. So a lot of time, banks are looking at infrastructure and high availability of the infrastructure, 3 nines, 4 nines, 5 nines, but that's just at an infrastructure level. We got to look at things from an operational standpoint, whether the system is available for the end user who's going to be using or not, and that really has been the starting point for us, and that's how we have solved this problem. So I also want to present to you the design studio. One of the big thing is in today's world, how do you get the time to market advantage? And I also call it as the time to money advantage, because we are putting in time and money on all of these projects. And if I have to wait for 1.5 or 2 years to see the benefits, that really doesn't solve the purpose. So we believe in starting off and seeing the first set of benefits within the first 3 months, use the next 6 months to actually adopt and build scale on the platform. So we have these curated journeys, both on secured and unsecured lending, whether someone wants to do education loan, gold loan, two-wheeler loan, or on the SME side, commercial vehicle, mortgage, construction finance, supply chain finance. We have pre-curated journeys which are pre-integrated with 250 plus interfaces across the ecosystem. But we also give the advantage that, if someone wants to make a change onto that, there is a possibility and an option to make the change through the design studio. So going into the design studio, you can just change the blocks that you want to change. Otherwise, an end-to-end journey has been built by experts who have done exactly the same thing at other places. But we appreciate no two banks are alike. Every bank would want to do journeys on their own way. But heavy lifting, because Aadhaar is Aadhaar, PAN is PAN, and a lot of other integrations that you are doing, they are always going to be the same. So whether it is the customer experience or customer journey you want to do, whether it is the business or the credit policy you want to do, these are the two things that we let the banks choose. What's the credit policy you want and what's the customer experience you want to give. Rest of it, we've got running on the platform. And Design Studio helps you build that customer experience and customer journey. We have this honor of getting recognition across the board for different solution that we have put out for some of the marquee customers that we have got. And I think this is a testimony of the good work that the entire team has been putting at Lentra, and we are very, very proud of what we have achieved. I just want to spend a couple of last minutes talking about what the lending cloud means. We are moving into a digital age where we are confident that Lentra is going to create to some extent, I think it's fair to say we might be polarizing the entire world so that you're either on the Lentra platform or you're not on the Lentra platform. And I'm very confident that you will have more and more customers coming onto the platform, because the integrated lending advantage as a digital solution that we put out is so compelling that to have that competitive edge, it becomes very, very imperative to be on this platform so that you can transform what you're doing in the space of lending. So we provide the edge from distribution, growth, and efficiency standpoint. Digital distribution is something that we are extremely committed to. And these are the things where anything that is happening new, we are going and making, we have invested heavily on the R&D as well as a lot of associations that we are having with different bank teams to solve the distribution challenge, and we have been very closely working with the fintechs on this game. In the long run, we want to side both with the fintechs as well as with the bank. We don't want to, lending has been the oldest profession, so we don't want to super simplify that. We understand it's a regulated business. It has its own complexity. So on one side, we are working very closely with the lenders. On the other side, we are also working very closely for the fintechs so that we can balance both the advantages. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Ankurji, for that wonderful presentation. So, ladies and gentlemen, that was Mr. Ankur Handa, co-founder and Chief Products Officer, Lentra. I would like to call on stage Mr. Padma Bhushan Bahadure, CTO, IDBI Bank, to kindly do the honors of felicitating Ankur. Thank you, Padma Bhushan ji. Big round of applause, ladies and gentlemen, to Ankur Handa from Lentra on democratizing credit through Lentra's lending cloud. Thank you, Ankurji, for that presentation.